Hello student, I am Professor Trupti Bajaj here. We are doing the study of chapter number 3A, Demand Analysis. In previous video, we had completed the determinants of demand and our today's topic is law of demand. Let me begin with the law of demand. The law of demand, this question is asked for 8 marks in board exam. I want to give you a format of answer of this question in such a way. Introduction, statement of law, assumptions, demand schedule, its explanation, diagram, its explanation, and exceptions. Let me begin with the given format. Introduction. Student, basically this law explains the consumer behavior. The law of demand was introduced by Professor Alfred Marshall in his book Principle of Economics, which was published in 1890. The law explains the functional relationship between price and quantity demanded. स्टूडेंट अल्फ्रेड मार्शल ने प्राइस एंड क्वांटिटी डिमांड ये दो वेरिएबल लेके इस लॉ को एक्सप्लेन किया है जिसमें कंज्यूमर का बिहेवियर उन्होंने दिया है. Statement of the law. According to Professor Alfred Marshall, other things being equal, higher the price of the commodity, smaller is the quantity demanded, and lower the price of commodity, larger is the quantity demanded. Student, here Alfred Marshall's statement start with other thing being constant. It means he assumes ceteris paribus. We know that in ceteris paribus, the factors which affect the law that remain constant and same thing is done by Alfred Marshall. What he says if price is high, जब प्राइस ज़्यादा रहेगा तो ऑब्वियसली कंज्यूमर क्या करते हैं, कम क्वांटिटी डिमांड करते हैं. जब प्राइस लो रहता है तब कंज्यूमर हाई क्वांटिटी डिमांड करते हैं. इसका ये स्टेटमेंट का मीनिंग है. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग? अदर फैक्टर्स रिमेनिंग कांस्टेंट. अदर फैक्टर्स मीन्स द फैक्टर्स विच अफेक्ट द लॉ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, income, taste, habits, by which a consumer can distract and change his demand. So, here Alfred Marshall assumed only a price variable by which a consumer is going to change his demand. So, what meaning we got? If the price of a commodity rises, demand for it falls, and when price of a commodity falls, demand for the commodity rises. Thus, there is the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, which can be summarized by the following way. If price increases, quantity demand decreases. You can see the opposite direction arrows, which shows the indirect relationship between price and quantity demanded. If price is high, quantity demand is low, or if price is low, quantity demand becomes high. It shows the indirect relationship. This relationship is also known as inverse relationship, which means both are going in opposite direction. Symbolically, the functional relationship between demand and price is expressed as dx is equal to function of px, which means demand is the function of price. As price changes, demand changes. Where d is demand for a commodity, x is commodity x, f is the function, and px is the price of a commodity. Now, let me begin with the assumptions of the law. Now, we know that in order to implement the law, Alfred Marshall assumes other factors that remain constant. And which are they? Let me see one by one. First is level of income. In order to implement the law, in true sense, consumers' income should remain constant, which is assumed by Alfred Marshall, because with the rising income of the people, may show the tendency to buy more. See, if the people income increases, if the people income increases, quantity demand also increases. As the people income increases, quantity demand also increases because their purchasing capacity increases and therefore they are demanding more in the market. But we want to nullify this effect and therefore Alfred Marshall assumed that level of income is constant to implement the law. Second is no change in the size of population. It is assumed that the size of population remain unchanged because any change in the size and composition of population of country affects the total demand for the products. For example, आपके फैमिली में अगर 4 मेंबर हैं और आप 10 kg वेट पर मंथ लाते हैं और आपके घर में अगर 1 महीने में मेहमान आने वाले हो तो आप 10 kg के बदले में 20 kg डिमांड करते हो. इसका मतलब if the number of family members are going to be increased, you are demanding high quantity. So the size and composition of your family member is going to be changed, you change your demand. So it means the family members affect your demand of wheat in the market. And to nullify this effect, Alfred Marshall assumed that there should not be any change in the size of population. Next is prices of substitute goods that remain constant. It is assumed that prices of substitutes remain unchanged. Any change in the price of the substitute will affect the demand for the commodity. Let me take the one example of Pepsi and Coke. You are the consumer of Coke, which is of 20 rupees, and if substitute is available, that is Pepsi, which is of 15 rupees, it means you are distracted to Pepsi and you purchase the Pepsi at rupees 15. It means the available substitute affect the demand for the Coke. So to nullify this effect, Alfred Marshall assumed that prices of substitute goods that remain constant. Next one. Fourth one, prices of complementary goods that remain constant. It is assumed that prices of complementary goods remain unchanged because a change in price of one good will affect the demand for other good. Let me take the example. हम एक एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं कार एंड पेट्रोल का, जिसमें if the price of car is going to be rise, quantity demand for petrol is going to be fall. See, in complementary goods, it is always inverse relationship in reality. But to nullify the effect, Alfred Marshall assumed that the prices of these goods remain constant in nature and then only law can be implemented. Next one, no expectation about future changes in the prices. It is assumed that consumers do not expect any further changes in price in near future. If consumers expect a rise in price in future, they may demand more in the present even at the existing high price. Let me take the example. Consumer want to purchase the wheat. He is thinking about the future. Prices of wheat is going to be rise. Now, if he think about the future, he buys more quantity at existing high prices. Okay, to nullify this effect, Alfred Marshall assumed that there should not be any thinking about the future prices. At current prices, consumers should buy the goods. Next is no change in taste, habits, preferences, fashions, etc. It is assumed that consumers' taste, habits, preferences, fashions, etc. should remain unchanged. Any change in these factors will lead to a change in demand. For example, you like to eat the chocolates, but you also like to eat the ice cream. But if I of you change your taste, instead of eating chocolates, you are eating only ice cream. It means you change your taste. At that time, law is not going to be implemented. If fashion is going to be changed, you are attracted towards new fashion and you are buying the fashionable goods. At that time also, the law is not going to be implemented. So, in order to avoid this change, Alfred Marshall assumes there should not be any change in taste, habit, preferences, and fashions because any change in these factors change the demand or change the demand for the product. Next is no change in taxation policy. Taxation policy of the government has a great impact on the demand for various goods and services, and therefore it is assumed that there is no change in the policy of taxation declared by the government. Let me take the example. Suppose tax on certain goods is going to be raised. Obviously, people demanding less for that goods, which means this change in reality, this change occurs if tax increases, consumer decrease is demand. If, if tax decreases, consumer demanding more for that good. So this effect is going to be nullified and therefore he assumes that no change in the taxation policy. Let we going to explain this law with the help of demand schedule and diagram. Student, you can see a schedule in front of you where the law considered price and quantity demanded these two variables and explain the law. See, at one column is of price of commodity X and second column is quantity demanded in kg. When price is rupees 100, person demanding 2 kg of that good. If price get falls from 100 to 80, he demanding 4 kg of that good. If price decreases from 80 to 60, demand falls from 4, demand increases from 4 to 6. When price decreases from 60 to 40, demand increases to 8 kg. And when price falls from 40 to 20, quantity demand rises from 8 to 10 kg. Here, by the help of the schedule, we are going to explain the consumer behavior. That is, if the price of goods is going to be false, quantity demand rises. Thus, as the price of commodity falls, quantity demand rises, and when price of commodity rises, quantity demand falls. This is shown. This shows an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. The same schedule is explained with the help of diagram. In the figure, x-axis represent the demand for the commodity, y-axis represent the price of the commodity X. DD is the demand curve which is sloping downwards from left to right due to an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, which is shown by the given arrow downward sloping. This curve is negative sloping curve. So we get the negative sloping curve for demand of commodity X. Now let me begin with the exceptions to the law. Student, under certain circumstances, consumer buy more when the price of commodity rises and less when price falls. In such cases, the demand curve slopes up from left to right and that That is, it has a positive slope. Students see, when prices rise, quantity demand is rises. When prices falls, quantity demand also falls. This is the exceptional case, which is explained with the help of this diagram. See, in these cases, suppose this situation is observed, we get the positive sloping demand curve. So, in case of exceptions, we get the positive sloping demand curve, which shows both are goes in same direction. In this situation, we are getting the direct functional relationship between price and quantity demanded. Let me begin with the first exception, that is Giffen's paradox. Now see, Giffen's paradox is nothing but which is explained with the help of inferior quality of goods. Now see, inferior goods or low quality goods are those goods whose demand does not rise even if the price falls. At times, demand decreases when the price of such commodity falls. Sir Robert Giffen observed this behavior in England in relation to bread and mutton. He noted that when price of bread declined, people did not buy more of it because of an increase in their real income or purchasing power. They prefer to buy superior goods like meat. This is known as Giffen's paradox. Student, let me take the example. Generally, poor people are buying low quality goods. For example, oil, vegetable, fruits. They are buying it low quality because they get these particular goods at low rate. But if the quality is very low, price quality is very low, and if the price of these goods is going to be decreases, even the poor people are not going to buy such goods because the quality is low. And at that time, what they are prefer, with the increasing purchasing power, they want to buy superior goods than the low quality goods. Let me take, I want to give you the one example. Suppose as a consumer, you are buying the fruits which is having low quality. Okay, at that time, you are thinking about the quality and its price, and you are going to prefer the superior quality goods. So this is nothing but the Giffen's paradox, which shows even the price is going to be down, people are not going to buy these goods at more quantity, but with the increasing purchasing power, they are prefer superior goods. Same thing is explained by and observed by Robert Giffens, and therefore these goods are known as Giffen's goods. Next is prestigious goods. Expensive goods like diamond, gold, which are the status of symbol, which is the status symbol. So rich people buy too more of it even when their prices are very high, which is explained with the given images. See, generally rich people buying more of this diamond, gold in order to show their status in the society, and even if price is high, they are demanding more only to show their status in the society. So here the law is not going to be implemented. We get the direct relationship between the price and quantity demanded. Next is speculation. Speculation means the future expectation about the prices. Generally, during festivals, here I took the example of Diwali. During the festivals, prices of other goods such as sugar, oil, clothes, hmm, are going to be rise before Diwali. So people think about the high prices in that particular period, and they are purchasing high even at a high prices. So here again the law is not going to be implemented because here we get the direct relationship between the price of different goods and the quantity demand of that goods. Next is price illusion. See student, consumers have an illusion that high price goods are of better quality and therefore the demand for such goods tends to increase with the rise in their prices. See student, जनरली हमारे दिमाग में एक रहता है कि ब्रांडेड गुड्स की क्वालिटी भी अच्छी रहती है एंड उसका प्राइस भी बहुत ज़्यादा रहता है। ये कंज्यूमर ने दिमाग में सोच के रखा है एंड देयरफॉर कंज्यूमर डिमांडिंग मोर फॉर हाई प्राइस बिकॉज दे थिंक दैट हाई प्राइस goods is having the better quality. So again here the law is not going to be implemented because consumer demanding more for high price goods means quantity demand is high and price is also very high. So here again the law is not going to be implemented. Next one is ignorance. Student, here I took one example. This lady is going to buy an apple from the vegetable seller at rupees 200 per kg. So she buys 1 kg at rupees 200. After some time she come to know that market price of apple is rupees 160. So in this example what happens? A, this consumer, she is totally ignore about the market prevailing prices and buy the goods at high price, buy apple at high price. So same thing is given sometimes due to the ignorance of the people buy more of the commodity at high price and this may happen when consumer is ignorant about the price of the commodity at the other places. So it can be happen with us also. Next one is habitual goods. Due to the habit of consumption of certain goods like tea, chocolates, etc., which is purchased in required quantities even at a high price. People habit force them to purchase such goods when they want. See, many times you are having the habit to eat the chocolate, and if you want the chocolate at a particular time, you are ready to purchase that chocolate at any rate. Okay, so it means your habit affect the demand. Even at a high price, you are purchasing the high quantity of these goods. Let me take the another example. Those people who are habitual with the tea, when they are intensity to have a tea, at that time they are ready to pay any price for the tea. So here your habit affects your demand. Even the price is high, you are demanding more. So here law is not going to be implemented and therefore it is an exception. Okay, so in all exceptions, we are getting a direct relationship between price and quantity demanded. I hope you understood this law properly. Thank you.